Hey everyone, I'm so thrilled to be joined with the co-founders of Be the Change, a new virtual job fair for the wine industry that's committed to making it more diverse and inclusive. So today I'm going to introduce our incredible panelists right now. We have an all-star lineup. Falana, I will start with you. If you can just give us a friendly wave. Falana Bouvier, she is the VP Fine Wine and Supplier Business Development at Republic National Distribution Company. Great to have you. Next up, Leah Jones. Hey, Leah. She is the founder and executive director at Diversity in Wine and Spirits. Next up, we've got Rania Zayed. She is the founder and president of Wonder Women of Wine. Say that 10 times fast. Cara Bertone, last but certainly not least. She is the national accounts sales manager at Folio Fine Wine Partners. Well, thank you so much for being here. We have a lot to unpack, but really we're going to dive right in. I'm going to turn it over to you, Falana. What is Be the Change?
Be the Change is an equal opportunity initiative that is committed to changing the status quo through action and policy. We are kicking off our initiative, which is meant to implement legislation to empower inclusive hiring practices in our industry at the beginning of 2021. So as we are kicking off this initiative, we are going to launch the first virtual job fair focused on the wine industry to begin with, where we're asking employers to be focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we're opening up the job industry to diverse candidates.
You've led diversity and inclusion initiatives at the wholesale tier, and you're currently working at one of the largest beverage alcohol distributors in the country. So from your unique vantage point, what does the industry look like right now, and how does it need to change as it relates to D&I?
I'll speak from 2 points of views. The first point of view is from the wholesaler point of view. I've been working with a wholesaler for the last 20 years and been very fortunate. I work with a great company now, Republic National Distributing Company, and they are continuing to improve and advance when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion. When it comes to the rest of the wholesaler landscape, including even RNDC, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, if you look at the entire country as a whole, we still have a lot of work to do. Because when you walk into a room in a wholesaler meeting, most of my career has always been where I was the only woman in that room. And what we need is diversity. You need diversity of thought, and you need to be able to have a diversity seat at the table. And we have to welcome diverse thought all the time. It can't be a one-off where all of a sudden the executive says, well, I actually did hire that one person. Well, that's not good enough. We want to all be included, and we want to feel inclusive. So the work that we're doing with Be the Change is really an invitation to learn and to educate and to elevate diverse thought and diverse candidates into a business that is very special, because the wholesale business is special, and the wine industry, wine brings everyone together, and that's what's most important here.
Love it. And I have a question for you, Leah. And you talk a lot about creating a safe space for professionals in the industry. How is Be the Change creating a safe space for job seekers?
When companies implement their diversity and inclusion programs, they often think about diversity and they miss the inclusion portion of it. And so reports and studies have shown, one of the reports that I go by, McKinsey and Company, comes out with diversity, and recently they came out with an Inclusion Matters report. And they showed the discrepancy in terms of what employers thought inclusion was and that they were hitting the mark versus what employees thought inclusion was and how they felt a belongingness to a company. And Be the Change focuses on allowing companies to be in an environment where they have access to diverse candidates. But for candidates, especially in 2020 in this climate, the next generation really thinks about diversity and inclusion, and they have choices on what companies they would like to apply to or take a job with. And so we wanted to make sure that diverse candidates knew that we were dealing with companies that really cared about diversity and inclusion, cared about the things that if I'm a diverse person or someone that's underrepresented in your company and I get hired, I want to know that you really value me, that I'm heard. And so we have this survey that we're doing with the exhibitors. And the survey is a preview to a larger survey that Diversity in Wine and Spirits is doing for a diversity in food and beverage index, which measures diversity. And so for the job fair, you're able to participate in a survey and get a report at the end of it, and it shows where you are as a company in terms of diversity. Also, candidates have a optional survey that they get to fill out so they can express and show you as an employer what they value in terms of inclusiveness.
Thanks, Leah. I love your expertise in the space there, and so important to highlight inclusion. And thank you for spelling that out for us. My next question is for you, Rania. You are an advanced sommelier, you are a wine educator, you are a gender equality advocate. So I'm curious, what do you hope job seekers take away from Be the Change?
Thanks for asking. We're really excited about creating an opportunity for job seekers to come together, as Leah mentioned, in a safe place where we are able to facilitate this sense of belonging and facilitate many different companies coming together for the same cause, and that is with the candidate at the focus. We want them to get a taste of what the future of hiring practices in our industry can look like, where every company that is, seeking out employees has a DEI program. They have zero tolerance policies. They're working towards bettering the future of the industry, and that starts with putting your employee first and creating a meaningful space for them to feel valued and contributed. And so we're really excited about that. And we're also focusing on the efficiency of hiring practices. We know that this has been a really tough year for the wine industry, of course, with COVID, but also with tariffs. And so there are a lot of great initiatives that have started this year that focus on educational pieces and scholarships. But at the end of the day, that education needs to be put to use, and you have to have a job, and people need to make money. And so we've created this really great sort of efficient system where you have access to all these employers in one space. You get to chat with them right away. And it just really kind of speeds up that hiring process that can often take a month to 2 months. And so we're just really excited about bringing together great candidates with great employers.
And speaking of efficient systems, I will turn it over to you, Kara. You've been instrumental in really bringing Be the Change, this virtual job fair, to life. So tell us more about the platform. What can job seekers expect from this? What does the user experience look like?
Thank you for the question. We had a very fun time researching this, trying to figure out how we were going to get this started. And we were given a little bit of a nod to go check out Brazen's platform. And we found the platform to be above and beyond, heads abound past anything else that we had actually looked at. And we had a conversation with founder Ryan Healy. And when he realized what we were trying to do by pulling in diverse candidates from across the country to this job fair, he actually spoke to us about their opportunity fund. And that opportunity fund lent us a platform essentially to come to everyone to bring forth this virtual job fair. So we thank Ryan and Brazen for allowing that opportunity to happen first and foremost. But second off, for candidates coming in, I mean, it's actually really quite fun and it's extremely intuitive. So I liken it to this. If you were to walk to a conference center where you knew an actual job fair was happening and you open the doors and you see 50 different exhibitors or tables, and you would walk up to that table, you might grab a pamphlet and someone might be there to greet you, to give you some baseline feedback about their company. You could go to another table that had 4 people there, where they actually had someone from HR, someone who was a recruiter to answer more specific questions, tell you more about, the different areas that they have jobs in for their company. It's very, very similar. So the candidate would click into the landing page and land into a lobby area. And instead of having tables, you'll have what the platform calls booths. And so you would click on an exhibitor's booth, and that exhibitor will be able to essentially tell you everything that they can about who they are as a company. And inside of that booth, you will be able to, some exhibitors have shown, 2-minute reels about their company culture that you can dive into. And inside of each of the booths, you will have the opportunity to speak to a representative. So exhibitors can have anywhere between 1 and 4 representatives at a given time. So just depending on how many jobs that they have available at the moment, and you can click to speak with them. Some exhibitors can also have chat capabilities that turn into video with you as well. So make sure you wear your outfits, you're prepared for interview time, because you can definitely turn into a video in many of these. But we also have some exhibitors that are coming in without real jobs. USCT, they're coming in and they're changing their exhibitor booth to be something a little bit more flexible, and they're probably going to be bringing people in that can actually talk to you, individual candidates, for mentorship programs. So, for hour number 1, I believe they're looking at having winemakers. So, a candidate can come and talk to a winemaker for 10 minutes if winemaking is actually which path they want to go down in the future. It's really interesting, all the different opportunities that we're going to have at the job fair.
It sounds absolutely incredible. And virtual is the name of the game in a global pandemic. So it is a totally safe experience. I love that. Well, thank you so much. This is a dream team. These are the co-founders, Be the Change. So once again, Job Seekers, December 3rd, 4-hour event. This is an equal opportunity job fair. So everyone can apply, register. We hope to see you all there. And thanks so much. This is so wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.